Hello, everyone. It is I, Travis Gafford, back on the Riftbound channel, which needs an update. I've actually been working on a video about the metal cards that I just need to finish editing, and I have not yet. And so for now, this is what you get, which is going to be a video of me yapping while I open the box of Vendetta that was sent to me by Riot Games. They sent me that box that they sent to everybody, which has a bunch of the different products. It also had this very cool Kale and Morgana playmat in it. So you guys know what's in it. Everybody has a million videos that everybody's like, oh look, I wonder what it is that Riot sent me. Oh surprise! It's all the stuff that they sent everybody, and I appreciate them sending it out. It's a nice way to let the community see what is available in these products before you go out and spend your hard-earned money on them. It's a cool way to support the creators too, because TCG is in many ways much more expensive to cover than like a regular traditional digital video game that you maybe can play free to play if it's League or whatever. So it's kind of a nice thing. But the thought that I had today was that I would just open this and yap about the sort of state of Riftbound as I see it and some of the interesting things that are happening while we go through it. So without further ado, I will go ahead and crack this guy. But yeah, it's been an interesting time to be in TCG in general. I've been doing a bunch of different stuff. You guys know that I do consulting for PAX, but also work with some of the different organizers in the space, and also some of the vendors, and do a lot of stuff in Magic. But Riftbound came out, and it was kind of like the perfect thing for me. And so I've been to a couple of the RQs. And speaking about RQs, let me tell you, I had a friend who was trying to get a competitor badge for Los Angeles, and I was going to help her. And yesterday, it was terrible. I don't know if anybody else tried to do the Los Angeles thing where Eventbrite told you that you were in a queue and that you should not refresh, and then it turned out later on that you were not in a queue and you should most definitely refresh. But I went through that process, and it was miserable. And I have always tried to be sympathetic to. I really like the packaging on this. I feel like they really nailed this. The rich red is very nice. I know that the webcam kind of washes it out, but I am usually trying to be pretty sympathetic to the experience and plights of the average, player of either League of Legends or Magic or Riftbound or whatever. Even though I know that, for instance, with Los Angeles, I will be there, but I will have a media badge. So I am often okay. Let's see if we can get this to resolve correctly. Let me mess with the settings a little bit while I keep yapping. But I am often a little disappointed in the way things happen. But this is the first time in a while that I've tried to get tickets at myself and kind of gone through that full process. And boy, is it rough. I will say. I think that they really need to figure out a better system, because it is just not. This one is certainly not working, is I guess what I would say. And it was very aggravating, and I won't go into all of it because I know that many of you have already seen it or read the Reddit threads, and if you don't care, then you don't need to necessarily hear about it. But I found it to be very aggravating, and so I think long term they're going to have to figure out a better solution than what they have going on, because it's just too many people are trying to play Riftbound. Well, it looks fine. It's a little dark, but it is what it is. Too many people are trying to play Riftbound, and they do not have enough events to play in right now. And I get that like the RQs happen on a pretty frequent cadence, and so you are a foil battlefield. I know that's some people get tired of seeing the battlefields pop up in those types of slots, but I know that it's funny because they do a decent amount of these RQs, and for the people that need to run them, it's like kind of you're just on the hamster wheel all year long, going to all these different things, especially when you look at how they are internationally. But I think they just need more ways to play, because, or maybe another layer where like you get to go to the RQ if you qualify in, but so many people want to compete in like the main event, and there's just not a good way for them to do that at the moment. So we'll end up seeing if they end up making some changes there. I know that they announced sort of they're not showdowns. What are they calling them again? Where they work with a specific partner, and the partner can run something And those will be cool to see exactly how popular they end up being. Here's a legend. Ooh, this looks really cool. I like this a lot. Yeah, I apologize that this is not brighter. If I shine some more light on it, that kind of helps to get us a little bit. You can see the foiling more. Yeah, so I know that they're going to announce they've announced those other events, and that is nice at least to see. But we're gonna have to see how things develop over the course of 2027, because I think 2026 you get a lot of passes as it's like the launch year. Now I say that while also acknowledging that like it's really critical that you hit the landing, I guess, nail the landing on the first year, because otherwise people might just say, screw it, I'm gone. And I did see some sentiment in the Twitter replies to Riot's thing where they're just like, yeah, I'm going to go play another game where I can actually play the game, because these people are spending, hundreds of hours. There's still some, I don't know if you can see this as we get to this other legend, there's still some poor cutting. There's like, can you see that fuzziness on the top of this card? I don't know. Oh man, it's actually really bad. I think, man, it doesn't get picked up by this camera very well because it's out of focus here. Let me see if I can just force the focus. This is what's aggravating, is that I thought by this set they were supposed to be good about this stuff, but you can see all that paper just hanging out on the edge of this card. And I appreciate Riot sending me this, but I'm not gonna stray away from mentioning like the poor cut, I guess, on that. And this is a rare too, so it's kind of, it feels bad. Anyway, yeah, I saw some people just being like, hey, if I'm spending 10 hours every week for months at a time trying to get good at this game, many people I think probably more so, and then I don't even get a chance to compete at the RQs, and then there's nothing really that they feel is significant in between each RQ to compete at. There's a lot of people that are just gonna go do something else, So I think that is a little disappointing, but we'll see what ends up happening. So alongside the issues with competitive, I've also noticed some interesting stuff happening on the financial side of this game. See, look, there's still, you can see that is not a sharp line at the top. Wow. I really thought that they were going to figure this out. Let's see if we can get this. Yeah, the focus there we go. Oh, this is not as bad as the other, but you can see that it is just not a clean, like rubbing my finger over the top of it, you feel that poor cut. It's really disappointing. Ooh, Macaulay. She looks great in all of her art in this set. I was looking at that earlier. Oh! Nice little Nasus. You look at the art online and then you see it in person and it's always exciting. Oh, sorry. I realized I need to turn my focus back. So, yeah, so the finance side of this has been really interesting, because when Unleashed came out, you had this moment where booster boxes were suddenly very plentiful. Of every set, actually, except for Origins, but even Origins, which had been sitting up close to 300 for a while, had come back down. It was like falling, looked like it might get down to like 160 at one point in time, probably did in a couple places. And I have a friend who has worked in TCG for a long time, and he was telling me about how almost without doubt, I mean, he said this, I think, when Origins came out, the third set of every new TCG always is a rough one from a store perspective, where it just, people don't want it as much, it becomes too available, and then, oh, here's an alt Jace, hammer in hand. And then suddenly everybody's like, oh, was this just a flash in the pan? Well, I'll tell you that if you look at what happened with the Los Angeles tickets yesterday, as I record this, I think this will go up today, and you look at what happened with with the overnumbered cards, because that's the big thing, is that right now if you have any kind of exclusive stuff, things that people think are going to be rare, so I'm talking about like the Worlds bundle, the Arcane bundle, the signatures from the original set, Origins, that stuff is just doing numbers. It is going crazy. And it's funny because you all know I work with packs. We have a pack that we had to pull from the site because it was too volatile. The market was too volatile, where, every day we'd go in and the pricing on signature Ari would go like 5,000, 4,000, 6,000, 7,000, and it's just like very difficult to, we don't want to screw anybody over. We don't want to get screwed over ourselves. We just got to wait. But I mean, the overall market of of overnumbered cards, all overnumbered cards, have gone up like I don't know, 2 times right now, something around that, which is pretty wild. It's pretty wild to see. And I think for me, the big question is, how much of this is player desire and demand for these cards? Like, I play this game, or even I'm a collector. I'm a huge League of Legends fan, and I really want a signature Kaisa, yada yada. How much of it is that, and how much of it is people coming in and saying, oh wow, look at the demand for this game, and where do we think it's going to be 4 or 5 years from now, even 2 years from now? Let's go and buy a bunch of these rare cards because we think it's going to be like owning a Black Lotus or whatever. Everybody always, so many people know about OG Pokemon, OG Magic, and so they now are trying to like capture that again, and they want to get in on it. Once again, I'm not going to point it out every time, but like whenever I see it and it's real rough, I just want to show, like, that is not a clean edge. That is a very rough one. I want to take like a file and file it down. They got to figure this out. Supposedly this was going to get better by like set 3, and we're going into set 4, and I'll say these cards all still need haircuts. Mbessa. So I'm wondering how much the value of these cards actually is correlated to authentic fans of the IP or fans of the game, or how much of it is, hey, I'm a guy who buys a lot of Magic stuff and Yu-Gi-Oh stuff and Pokemon stuff or whatever and flips it, and I have a ton of crypto money. I'm going to start buying these cards with my friends, and we're going to move the market because we realize that the supply is so low. And like I'm not the type of person, like you see Reddit threads where people are like, the market manipulation is terrible. It's ruining the game. Somebody's got to do something about this. Ooh, nice. Yellow Shen. Like, I don't know. In my mind, unless it's not ruining the game unless it's making the decks that people want to play at events incredibly unobtainable, and that is certainly not the case. The cards that people are buying are essentially skins. They're cosmetics, and I've always been okay with expensive cosmetics. I was not upset with the like $500 faker skin. I always thought, well, if players don't want to spend money to watch League of Legends esports, they want to watch it for free, then they should be okay with people who have deep pockets subsidizing the sport by buying very expensive versions of it. And I would say that's what will ideally happen with Riftbound. I mean, Pokemon, one of the things that's like really great about playing it, even though so few people play it, is the fact that you can build a deck and play it for super cheap. And I think it would be great. I mean, I feel like Riftbound is already basically there. A lot of the decks are very inexpensive. And we'll see if this like Kaisa reprint ends up helping too. But I think that the game will benefit from the chase cards being hard to get and expensive, and people going out and cracking a ton of packs because they want to open that crazy overnumber signature. And then, oh, my friend is super into Zed. She's going to be wanting all the Zed cards, I'm sure. And in fact, as a great example, she does not play Riftbound. But as soon as they printed Zed, because she's a huge Zed stan and does the whole fan fiction thing, she was like, she's told me she pre-ordered a couple boxes of Vendetta. And so I think there are people out there like that who are just hoping to get the fancy version of a card that is a character on it that in some cases they've played for 10, 15 years, you know. But if those people buy that stuff and then they go, you know, I don't really need the rest of these cards, or I'm only going to take a couple, I'll give the others to some of my friends who play the game, or sell them to my local game store for some credit or something like that, then I think that's a good thing, you know. It really helps out the game. So but I know a lot of people feel differently. They think that every card should be accessible, and I can't empathize. Mel. Oh, this looks great. I really like Mel as a character. I know she's relatively new to the League of Legends canon, but she's really sick. And she looks really good in this card. So we shall see. We shall see where the game ends up going. But like the thing that'll be fascinating to me is, do Vendetta packs hang out at MSRP? Because we saw Spirit Forge go up above MSRP, which is around roughly $120. And then we saw it start to kind of fall back down, and then Unleashed hit, and it was very below water. And I say very, it's not like it was selling for like $70, but I don't think anybody was like losing money if you'd bought it from a distributor at distributor cost. But certainly a lot of people are sitting on a lot of boxes of that. And so the question is, does Vendetta help recover some of that? Because I know, okay, listen, I get it that a lot of players are just like, no, let these packs get as cheap as possible. But the people like myself who've been in TCG for a minute, and not that it's been very long for me, but you know, relative to like the lifespan of Riftbound, understand that like a lot of the ability for the scene to grow and have awesome tournaments and have, you know, valuable cards that you can go get at these things if you win well and all that type of thing, it is intrinsically linked, as much as people don't want it to be, to the financial aspects of the game. And I know that the legends are a dime a dozen, but I always will appreciate that they made all the art on them look really good. I think that is very cool. And it's like something they didn't need to do. They could make like a very basic version of that nobody wants to play, and then make the other ones something that, you know, equates out to like $30-40. But they didn't. So that's always quite nice. So we'll have to see how things go with Vendetta and then beyond. You know, the thing that I think really helped kick off the crazy run on so many of the rare cards and rare, you know, packages or whatever you want to call them, bundles, was there's another Jace, was the T1. The T1 set. Deathmark. Another Zed art that my friend will be trying to acquire, I'm sure. No idea if this card's going to be good. I know people can oftentimes, you know, people are playing online or they're looking at other regions or whatever ahead of sets coming out, but are we synced up with China now? I think this set isn't this set the one that we're supposed to be like pretty close to Chinese release? Has it happened? But yeah, I always end up finding out within the first couple of weeks like what cards I actually end up seeing a ton of play. People speculate, you know, like the card will be worth a lot, people think. And that happens in every TCG. But Well, we'll have to wait a bit to see what really shakes out. I like this card a lot. This looks pretty cool. Interesting. Nice little glowstone. Ah! Alright. This is great. We love this. I know that people feel like they do the runes too often, and I kind of get it. I do. But it is very cool to open these, even though they are, they end up being like $8 or $9, but they always just look so great. The foiling on them is fantastic. They look really good. They look really good. Usually you get, what, 2 of those a box? Is that what the current average is? Hopefully get one more. I might have changed it. I'll admit that I did not enjoy Unleashed as much as I did Spirit Forge and Origins, so I've been a little out of the loop on what's been going on in Riftbound. I mean, I pay attention to the bans and all that type of thing, but in terms of what the big, if they change the formula or anything like that. I do know Baron showed up much more than people thought he was going to in the last set, and that was interesting. The other thing I'll say is that I hope that they start to solidify their themes a little more, because one of the things that I have noticed is that a lot of the, we're now 4 sets in, and I don't feel as though the sets have the identity that I see in other games, especially Magic when they're going to different planes. And I understand that these are the early ones, and they're just trying to put like the base here. Here's what Zed looks like in League of Legends, and we're not going to do anything crazy with him yet, outside of maybe like give him an overnumbered card or whatever. But I do feel like a lot of the sets kind of tend to bleed together. Like I cannot look at a card and be like, it's probably from that set. Here's a nice little Morgana to go with our Morgana in the background. And a Fallen Feline. My girlfriend plays Ivern and tries to play as many cats as she can. So she'll be excited to see that there are more cats showing up in this set. By the way, I don't, there's a chance that I have embarrassed myself at some point in time by opening some crazy chase card here and not recognizing it because I'm just yapping to all of you while I do that and not staring at every card. But I will say, for all the people who say, oh, they juice the creator boxes, one, I think from a logistics perspective, that would just be very hard to coordinate. That's the thing, is people don't always, there's not, it's not Dave Guskin sitting in a room sealing the plastic on each of these and deciding who gets what. So people don't, I think, always understand what that would mean. Oh, no, there's that. In terms of making sure that the good packs go to certain creators. But I would, people see the highlight reels of people opening crazy stuff. They don't always see packs like this that end up being, so far, a bit of a bust. Boxes like this, maybe I should say. So I'm trying to do my best to get the card fully in the frame, and then I notice sometimes that because I'm sitting a little awkwardly at my desk, I'm a little off camera with some of the cards probably. Here's another cat. They definitely put a lot of cats into this game, which I think is good, because people like cats even if I don't want Kobe to get one. You want to give people what they want, unless it's Kobe, in which case I do not want to give him what he wants. I'm going to be in Los Angeles. I mean, I live here, so it's easy, but I will be at the RQ. I guess technically I can't say that, because while creators have gotten their confirmations, media haven't even had the chance to apply yet, but I've gotten approved for the other ones that I've applied to, so I assume we will be good here, but I would be very surprised if that's the case. Mel, once more, showing up. Little Kennen card, little cheeky Kennen. I guess I should put following my previous organizing strategy. Okay, we're down to 3 packs. Are we going to get anything crazy? I feel like the answer is probably no. But we can find out in just these final packs. And then I have to clean up all these wrappers. You know, I try not to hawk packs.com too much, but I will say, having opened quite a few packs there now, it is quite nice that you just do not end up with a giant stack of cards that you probably will not use, and then endless amounts of wrappers that just go straight into the trash. I will put a link in the description there if anybody wants to check out the site that I do consulting for, where you can open up digital packs. We'll have a Vendetta pack that I will help design going up on the site next week. That'll be fun. There's a good Swain and Auroch General. Final 2 packs here. I can't complain because even though I've only opened so much Riftbound, probably like, I don't know, 6 boxes over the course of the last 9 months or however long it's been out, I have gotten a signature Kaisa. So I feel like I can't complain. Especially right now, that card's just going gangbusters. Here's our nice, beautiful Renekton boy. The decision to make the overnumbered cards also match up into the rivalries or vendettas, I think, is pretty cool. I don't know if you all saw the Leona card that Riot graciously let me preview. But it matches really well with the Diana. The amount, how many packs did I open where the first card was Handhammer? I feel like there were quite a few. All right, this is our final pack. Is it going to happen? Where's the juiced packs that they give creators? It'll be very ironic if then I pull the crazy thing. Nope. I did get a nice legend though. We love a legend. All right. So we got the Calm Rune. We got some nice fancy champions and signature spells. Here's our alt art Jace. But nothing too crazy in this. We'll see if Ocean Drake ends up being... Oop, as I drop it. We'll see if Ocean Drake ends up being something. But yeah, that's the box of Vendetta that Riot sent me. Thank you for sending me that. They sent me a couple of the other products. I don't know if they are worthy of their own entire pack opening experience. I mean, the Vault, I remember I was not a huge fan of. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully this channel gets an update soon that isn't just me opening cards, even though I know a lot of people like that. If you do want to check out what I do in the Riftbound space, in addition to the content, which is the consulting stuff, you can go check out packs.com, where I design a lot of the packs that are there. And there's a link in the description. When you do use that, you get a bonus. But thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next time.